bless his name today? Certainly we do. We bless his name. Thankful for him. I don't know what I would do without him. Thank God for Pastor Militant. Glad to see him today. Been a long time since this pulpit been this full. Preachers have been away on assignment, and even out there, Andre Hayes had a preaching engagement this morning at Pastor Goggins. The worship started at 10. Got out early enough to come on over here and share with us. Mark, the 4th chapter, the 35th verse is really a challenge, and then, of course, a charge in verse 40 of having no faith. Nothing reveals where you are faith-wise like a storm. I read the other day an article of this woman. She was a Katrina survivor. And they interviewed her, they talked to her. And of course she talked about her losses in that storm. All of us know how devastating Katrina was. But not only did she suffer loss in that storm, but about a year later, after the storm, her husband died. And to add insult to injury, not too long after her husband died, her son committed suicide. Now, they interviewed this woman, and you might think that the interview would be to magnify her sorrow. But rather than magnify her sorrow, this article was celebrating her faith. They said to her, they asked her, how is it that you can make it after all of the losses? She said, the reason I can make it is because I put it all in his hand. I don't focus on my losses. I focus on him. And as long as I can keep my eye on him, I know everything is going to be all right. And when I thought about it, it was the him she focused on that caused her to have in the first place. The Lord giveth, and the Lord has a right to take away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. And so I really tried to get away from it. I mulled over in my mind prayerfully other areas to go in. But I've been pushed in this direction. Not necessarily against my will, but I mean pushed in that it is my motivation, and I know full well that if God pushes me in this direction, that some of us, if not all of us, need to take a look again at this storm. This storm that grabs our attention here. Because I noticed after the conclusion of the storm, in verse 40, Jesus admonishes his disciples for having no faith. He said, you have fear. In fact, you are full of fear. Why is it that ye are so fearful? Now you have plenty of what you don't need. And you have none of what you need. Jesus almost would say to them, and I thought about this long and hard, rather than you scurrying about, waking me up, you need to wake up. You need to wake up to the power of faith. Because you should not determine if you're going to make it or not because the storm has been calmed. You ought to know you're going to make it, even when the tempest is raging. Now you ought not wait to trust me after the storm. You need to learn to trust me in the storm. Now some things I just can't get out of my head. They stay there. And the Lord let verse 35 linger with me, just kept lingering with me, Let us pass over to the other side. Kept lingering with me, because Jesus is saying to them that you needed to have faith in the storm. My question is, faith in what? Verse 35 does it. Let us pass over to the other side. First of all, then, he says you ought to have faith because you were accompanied by the Almighty. Let us